In the rugged mountains of Michoacán, Mexico, on July 17, 1966, a boy was born into poverty. His name was Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, a name that decades later would echo across headlines, intelligence briefings, and law enforcement agencies around the world. Raised in a small rural community, Nemesio grew up surrounded by hardship. Farming families struggled to survive, jobs were scarce, and opportunities were limited. Like many young men seeking a better future, he left home as a teenager and crossed into the United States. And he settled in California, where he worked low-paying jobs in agriculture. But the promise of a better life quickly faded. During the 1980s, he became involved in the drug trade, a decision that would define his future. In 1986, he was arrested in the U.S. for heroin trafficking. After serving prison time, he was deported back to Mexico. This deportation would become the turning point of his life. Back in Mexico, Nemesio entered the criminal underworld and joined the Michoacán cartel, where he learned the mechanics of organized crime, smuggling routes, supply chains, bribery networks, and the enforcement tactics necessary to maintain power. But he wasn't satisfied taking orders. By the late 2000s, Mexico's criminal landscape was shifting. Cartel leaders were being arrested or killed, leaving power vacuums across the country. After the death of a key Sinaloa cartel lieutenant in 2010, Nemesio seized the moment. He helped form the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, known globally as CJNG. What began as a regional group quickly transformed into a criminal empire. Unlike traditional cartels, CJNG operated with military precision. Members wore tactical gear, used armored vehicles, and communicated through encrypted systems. Their rapid expansion shocked authorities. Within a few years, CJNG gained control of key trafficking corridors across Mexico. The cartel trafficked massive quantities of cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and fentanyl into the United States while expanding operations into Europe, Asia, and Australia. Billions of dollars flowed through their network. But CJNG's reputation was built not only on profits, it was built on fear. The group became notorious for extreme violence. Public displays of brutality, mass executions, and attacks on security forces were used as psychological warfare. In 2015, CJNG gunmen shot down a Mexican military helicopter using a rocket-propelled grenade, an unprecedented act that demonstrated the cartel's firepower and willingness to confront the state directly. This was not just organized crime, it was insurgent-level violence. Because of his growing influence, Nemesio became known by his alias, El Mencho. Authorities in Mexico and the United States labeled him one of the most dangerous criminals in the world. U.S. government role and bounty, yes. As CJNG expanded, the United States intensified efforts to stop El Mencho. The Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, identified him as a top priority target due to the cartel's role in flooding American communities with methamphetamine and fentanyl. The U.S. Treasury Department sanctioned CJNG as a major transnational criminal organization, freezing assets and targeting financial networks tied to the cartel. Under the U.S. State Department's Narcotics Rewards Program, authorities offered a reward of up to $10 million for information leading to El Mencho's capture, one of the highest bounties ever placed on a drug trafficker. Meanwhile, Mexican authorities offered additional rewards, and joint intelligence operations between Mexico and the U.S. increased surveillance efforts. Despite this global manhunt, El Mencho remained elusive. How he stayed. Hidden security experts believe he relied on mountain hideouts and remote safe zones, loyal armed security forces, encrypted communications networks, corruption within local institutions, community support in regions under cartel control. His organization functioned like a parallel government in some areas, providing jobs and enforcing order, while ruling through fear. Family and inner circle authorities targeted his family to weaken his influence. His wife was arrested and accused of managing financial operations. His son, known as El Menchito, was captured and later extradited to the United States. Yet CJNG continued to grow. By the early 2000s, the cartel operated in dozens of countries and rivaled older criminal organizations for dominance. Violence surged in regions where CJNG battled rival cartels for territory, turning entire communities into conflict zones. February 2026, the operation. In February 2026, Mexican security forces launched a major coordinated operation aimed at dismantling cartel leadership structures. Soon after, reports emerged that El Mencho had been killed during the operation. While details remained tightly controlled, intelligence sources indicated the operation targeted a remote stronghold believed to house top CJNG leadership. The announcement sent shockwaves across Mexico and the international community. One of the world's most wanted men was gone. What happened after his death? But instead of peace, uncertainty followed. Power struggles began within CJNG almost immediately. Regional commanders competed for control, while rival cartels attempted to seize strategic territories. Violence surged in several states as alliances shifted. Security analysts warned that removing a cartel leader often creates instability rather than ending violence. The organization Mencho built did not disappear overnight. CJNG remains active, with its decentralized structure allowing operations to continue even without its founder. Legacy of fear and power. Nemesio Oseguera. Cervantes rose from rural poverty to lead one of the most powerful criminal empires in the modern era. To supporters, he was seen by some as a provider of jobs and protection. To authorities, he was a mastermind of violence and drug trafficking responsible for immense suffering. His story reflects a larger reality. Organized crime thrives where poverty, corruption, and global drug demand intersect. His death marked the end of a reign, but not the end of the system that allowed his empire to rise. And today, one question still lingers. When a king falls, does the war end? Or does a new battle begin?